You're right, they motioned McCaffrey, backwards pass to McCaffrey, and he's going to throw downfield wide open. Brandon Ayuk! Touchdown! San Francisco! He can run! He can catch!
Getting on fire!
Christian McCaffrey can throw! Schultz to the other, going to throw out left, intercepted! Diamador Lenore!
Whoa,
Dak
what a
Prescott
play!
just threw him the ball on the outcut going left to CeeDee Lamb. Diamador Lenore comes up with the game's first big play. Here's Prescott back, has time, throws out left, intercepted. Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner. Jimmy Ward tipped the ball, and Fred Warner with the INT. They're going to give it to McCaffrey coming left. McCaffrey, touchdown! San Francisco! He has thrown one, he has caught one, he has run one.
Hey,
Breezy, this that
Mo's nose, PG, fear the dog. It's about that time, everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's nose, Peachy, Breezy, and Fear the God. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you 9 to talk. We two gorilla, silverback, silver
You know
hawks.
it's busting, good discussion, cause we get it in. Every time, you know we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win, the faithful going hard. It's Wayne, Breezy, Peachy, Mo's nose, and Fear the God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk.
Oh, the nitty gritty crew is in the building, and it's a sad day because this is 3 in a row, and not victories. We're not talking victories. Mo's, Peachy, the Niners did exactly what they weren't supposed to do. They did exactly what they weren't supposed to do. They came out and lost 3 in a row, and this time they lost one at home in front of their hometown fans. They couldn't get the job done, and there's a bunch of stuff. Like, you can go down the line and kind of pinpoint from this particular game. But they had to go out there and get a win, and they failed to do it. But I just want to get y'all thoughts, man, and that's why we here, man. We here to kind of vent and get it out of our system.
First, I would like to say, because I don't have a voice to yell, it's gone. I got to work tomorrow, so therefore I can't be doing all this hollering. But everything that I said earlier happened. I tried to tell everybody about Cincinnati and how the reason why that they looked so bad was because Joe Burrow was hurt. I also tried to tell them about all the weapons and everything that Cincinnati had. And in order to beat them, you were going to have to bring your best game because Cincinnati is on an upward path, whereas the 49ers were on a downward one. Not only, to piggyback off what Breezy said, did we lose in front of our fans, we lost in front of 100 ex-49er players. Most of them actually All-Stars and Hall of Famers, Pro Bowlers, that were there to celebrate the drubbing that we put on Cincinnati twice in 2 Super Bowls. And to celebrate the last time that the 49ers played the Bengals that we won. So they were there to celebrate a lot of different things. It was an absolute embarrassment upon riches that you are home, making a home stand. And again, you know, I saw the 49ers locked in thing that they put up before the game. Saw that. How nobody wants to go against this defense. This defense is hype. I saw that. But I also saw that last week when we played Minnesota. And all I have to say is it's embarrassing It's so embarrassing. And the first person that says, hey, Mahomes had a bad day, I'm going to do like Mose did me a couple of years ago when I brought up Dallas and he didn't want to hear about it. No one cares about any other team right now but the 49ers. Because we're the one that's 5-3. So our competition is not Pat Mahomes. We got a long way before we even talk about that. Long way. Our competition is right here in our division. Right now. That's our competition. Our competition is the Eagles and teams like that. But being 5-3 right now, not any much of a competition right now. Because we got to win again first, and we're not winning. And it's really hurtful. It was really hurtful to watch that game. It was even hurtful to scream as loud as I did throughout the game. But there are so many things that went wrong in this game. And I couldn't believe, and I didn't recognize this team. Like, who is this? Who is this team that Vegas had as a sure bet to make it to the Super Bowl? Who's this team that was slated to just wear Philly out whenever we went to Philly? And parties are being planned and everything for celebrations and everything. Who is this team? Because right now, I don't recognize this team. From the quarterback down. Yeah, I said it. And I don't want to hear nothing about no concussion because he was balling for some of this game. So if you're going to blame the concussion on his INTs, then you need to try to explain how come his concussion symptoms magically disappeared whenever he was hitting those targets. Because he had some really great moments in this game, but he also had some really bad moments in this game. Bad moments in this game. So I am just hurt. Actually, I'm not even overreacting because I want to cry because I don't recognize this 49ers team. I don't recognize the some of the decisions that were made on offense, defense, everywhere. I don't recognize any of this team. It's pathetic right now. We are pathetic. And it's an embarrassment considering where we were supposed to be. So y'all got it.
O's? I don't think I can hear him. Oh, he's on mute right now. Well, yeah, my voice is kind of terrible right now. But listen, um, you know, it's tough because you start the season out 5-3, 5-0, right? It's tough. You start out hot, defense is flying. Doesn't look like we're skipping the beat with the defense. Yeah, we lost a couple of key players. Looked like the defense was doing their due diligence. They were allowing teams, not to score a lot. They weren't giving up a lot of yards in the passing game. And then came, an AFC team that punched us in the mouth, and then an NFC team that punched us in the mouth, and then back to another AFC team that punched us in the mouth. I didn't have us losing at the beginning of the season 3 in a row. I did have us losing 2 in a row. I actually had us losing this game. That's crazy, right? But I didn't have us losing to the Browns. So it's just crazy how I thought after losing 2 in a row, I thought the Niners would have came out with a different mindset. I thought the mentality would have been different. So now I have to question the mentality of the players because at the end of the day, Mose, let me know when you're ready. I'll shut up. At the end of the day, all right, it comes down to the players making plays. Mose, go ahead and take over from here, bro.
I love what you said about mentality. I'll get to that in a second. My sister Peachy, she hit the nail on the head. Like, who is this team? And that's why I sent you the title that I sent you, because as fan base, as content creators, as people that love this team and watch this team, they fooled us the first 5 weeks. They fooled us into thinking that this was an unstoppable team. We know it's the NFL, 18 weeks, and with what these players put their bodies through every single week, we know any given Sunday anything could happen. We know teams, go through slumps, or they may come out one week and just, because of travel, being on the road, maybe it's just a really good matchup. It just doesn't work out for whatever reason. But to start 5-0 and to be running through teams, putting up 30 a game, and now we can't even get to 20 points. To go from dropping 30 a game to not being able to put up 20. And I think there's a lot that's going on with this team. You talk about the mentality. And I have to question, is Kyle Shanahan's message, is his atmosphere, is the tone that he's setting for this team, is it stale? I have to question, as much as I love Fred Warner, I have to question if his tone setting and his intensity with the pregame speeches, is it getting stale? Something's not getting through to the team. To play this poorly 3 weeks in a row, it's unfathomable. Like you said, you didn't have this team losing 3 straight. No one in their right mind had this team losing 3 straight games. And let's break down those losses. Yes, the Browns have the number 1 defense. And sure, we could have won the game if Moody made the kick. But we didn't win the game. We lost to P.J. Walker and the offense that didn't have Nick Chubb. The following week, we lose to a Vikings offense who couldn't run the ball for shit and had no Justin Jefferson. This week, we lose to a Bengal team that came into the game, and they talked about this, 29th in scoring and last in total offense. Joe Burrow's health aside, Peachy makes a great point. He's healthy now. He's able to do things. His health aside, this team offensively was struggling. And there were plenty of games, there's plenty of tape out there earlier this season of them struggling. If it wasn't for stupid ass Booty Ward, he not Mooney no more until he started playing better, pushing Jamar Chase into Isaiah Oliver, we would have had an interception on that first drive. But Ward, I'm gonna spend some time on him later, but he's like too aggressive, but not aggressive at the right times. And it's like he just be out there doing shit now and not like really paying attention to the game, because that was an interception that we could have had. But then after that, it was like that woke Joe Burrow up. Like, okay, I see what it is. I see what they're doing. And then he went on to rip off 19 straight completions. Our defense, our secondary, we couldn't stop a nosebleed. There was nothing that we could do to figure out this offense and to get a stop. Thankfully, we got a lucky play at the end of the half where we punched the ball out, get the fumble, and stop them from going in. But that was inside the 10. They was about to punch it in on us again. So there's a lot that's happening. I'm going to shut up in a second. I think a lot of what's going on, particularly with this team, and I find it very ironic that we specifically mention of being a team that keeps the outside noise on the outside. I think that's cap. I think a lot of the outside noise has penetrated this locker room because after those first 5 weeks where Brock Purdy has been mentioned in the MVP race, what has he done? He's not been 30 Purdy, and in 3 games he's thrown 5 interceptions. He would have had a 6th if it wasn't for the Bengals' only penalty in the game. Let that sink in. Their only penalty came with under 2 minutes left in the game. Their only penalty. So you mean to tell me a team that has been struggling and that has not played to the level that they anticipated coming in due to injuries was able to lock in and focus and do what they needed to do, play almost perfect football, and get the job done on the road? That's what you're telling me. Who does that sound like? That sounds like us. A team that's struggling, partially due to some injuries. But what can we not do? We can't lock in, and we can't focus. Kittle, 2 drops. Booty Ward, 3 penalties. Jamar Chase was cooking his ass all day. 3 penalties in this game.
Yep.
Holdings on the offense, putting us behind the sticks. Same thing that got our ass in trouble in Cleveland. Same thing that got our ass in trouble in Minnesota.
It's a lot, right?
So there's proof out there that one team is able to do it. With the same circumstances that we have, they're able to lock in and focus and only have 1 penalty and damn near play a perfect football game.
So that's the question, right? So like moving forward, like how do the 49ers lock in and focus, right? And so where does that start? Does it start with the coaching? Does it start with the captains? Because I feel like the coaches got to get on one page. If Kyle's taking shots at his defensive coordinator subliminally or whatever, like that can't happen.
Facts, Breezy.
And so
That's true.
so now you become the bad news bears outside because he just took shots at his defensive coordinator. Oh, he got to be gone. Oh,
exactly.
So now the pressure of Steve Wilkes, and I'm not saying that he doesn't need to be better, because he definitely needs to. To me, his it's not his scheme. It's more of the timing of his play calls and having the wrong play for the wrong play counter play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you saw it in this game. You saw the way they were lined up, and it was like, dude, you want this guy to cover all this space? Like, it just didn't make sense. And so, like, I just feel like he's not seeing it properly. But at the end of the day, it's so many ways that this team is at fault, because at the end of the day, it also comes down to execution. And I know we say as teachers, you got to put your students in the position to succeed. But at some point, those students got to be able to adapt and figure out and show that they have learned from whatever it is that they learned from and make a play and execute. And I just feel like execution is a big portion. We could blame the play callers because that's where it starts. But then we got to talk about execution, because when I'm talking about execution, I'm talking about simple execution, Moses and Peachy. I'm talking wrapping and tackling. I'm talking missed tackles. Like that can't happen to a Super Bowl contending team. Now, I know there's going to be missed tackles, but come on. You can't go from a strong tackling team to not we probably bottom of the league. And then we can't adjust to certain situations, because what's happening is that offensive coordinators, good ones, are coming out just with a defensive juggernaut play and throwing a screen. They don't give a freak who they throw the screen to. Tight end, offensive lineman, quarterback's mom. It doesn't matter. They're just going to call a screenplay, and they're going to ask the 49ers to stop it because of lack of discipline and lack of understanding spacing and where they need to be on that. They fail. They fail big time. And now, like, all right, because you said something, Mose, that got me a little riled up. Not to push back, but you left out one thing. Because, yeah, everything you said happened. But you also left out a missed sack on 3rd and 10 that should have been a sack where Joe Burrow somehow scrambled away from 3 players, Armstead, Bosa, and I don't even care who the other one was, and found a way.
Hargrave.
And Hargrave. And found a way to make the pass, though.
What is the financial obligation that those 3 motherfuckers hold on this team?
They listen. The bulk of
them 3 together is
big
what?
chunk
At least 150 million?
A big chunk. Huge
together?
One of the first times that I actually screamed the loudest was because they reminded me of Kirk Cousins just last week.
Yeah, but that's execution. That's not gameplay. That's not scheme. That's not bad coaching. That's none of that. That's players failing to execute.
Best linemen, and they can't bring him down.
Bro, that's failure to execute,
2
bro.
weeks in a row.
I can't figure out how you let him go. And that, to me, Mose, was the indicator where the light bulb went off because he realized, and I'm talking about Burrow, that the 49ers aren't covering the middle.
Breezy?
Containing the middle or whatever you want to call it.
More than that, it was at that moment that he knew, these motherfuckers not locked in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always those moments in a game.
He had us.
And we know it because we've played it. We know those moments in the game where something happened and you like, that shouldn't have happened. Oh, he not focused. They not focused. They not locked in. And what does that do? That puts a battery in your back. Oh, they not locked in? They not focused?
Especially to a competent quarterback, right? Like a competent
one. He ripped off 19 straight complete. He went into halftime with the streak.
So one thing that I did notice, and I remember listening to Bosa in his presser, and it ran through my head what he was saying when he was talking about how that things are different, that he's got to get that they're trying to get used to whatever. I don't understand how the 49ers are going to be able, like with this, if the defensive coordinator is not on the same page with the other defensive coaches or the players themselves, how in the world is it going to get any better? Because Nick Bosa basically, was just like, well, things are different and not, basically just to paraphrase, it's not the same this year, than it was last year when D'Amico was here. Now we have a new, defensive coordinator and he's doing new stuff. And we're trying to get used to that. Like when he was talking about rushing 4 and doing all these different things like that. How in the world is this supposed to work if your defensive coordinator, coaches, and players are not in sync?
It's not that the coaches and players aren't in sync. It's the players can't execute what's being asked of them. So you have there's 2 options. Like there's 2 options. Look, coming from a teacher background, there's 2 options. You could force the student to learn the way you want them to learn, or you can just say, this ain't working and I gotta try something different, and maybe what was working, I'll just adapt. And you know what? Who made offensively? I remember watching. You remember when Cam Newton came into the league? I think Ron Rivera was his head coach at the time, right, in Carolina. And you remember, not once did he make Cam Newton do stuff he was uncomfortable with. Now, Cam Newton might not have progressed into one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but they absolutely utilized his skill sets and said, hey, we're going to build around that and work around that. It could be simply that the defense is built. We do got some new pieces. All right. We don't have Aziz Al-Shaair out there. You don't have Jimmy Ward out there. And so, like, that's a difference. And I personally, I think the defense is lacking the dogs. Look, we talk about dog mentality. We talk about all that stuff all the time, and there's only one. And when Mo sat there and said, maybe Fred's speeches, in my words, Mo's not yours, is cap. I don't think it's cap. I just think they're all suckers, yo. I just don't think they have the mentality as Fred. I could rile you up all day long, but if you ain't got the dog in you, you can't go out there and be more dog than the other dog. And that's what it comes down to. How do you win the dog? And then when you got Fred Warner out there overcompensating, dog, now he making mistakes. He making mental plays and mental errors out there on the football field because he not playing in the right depth. I watched him on a play, and I'm like, what the freak is Fred doing? He had to know that his role of responsibility, unfortunately, was going to be Jamar Chase, but he just let him get free off the line so he don't get beat. And I think that's what it came down to. Like, they're scared. Their mentality is scared. They're scared to get beat deep. Whatever that bend don't break, if that's the philosophy of Steve Wilks, I can see it in the 49ers' eyes defensively that they're scared to get beat. But what they're doing is, when you're playing Jamar Chase, he not beating you over the top. If you're playing so far off of him, 3 times in this game, at least, I saw Jamar Chase sit there, fake a block, and go out and catch the pass.
Yep.
At least 3 times. And I'm like, dang. That's a different mentality. In Mo's words, Cincinnati was locked in, and the 49ers weren't. And why? And that's the question. Why aren't the 49ers locked in? And you got Miss Sin asking, and we're going to get to the Super Chat contributions because we see them coming in. Is our season over? Absolutely not. We're at the bye week. But we have to, in Peachy's words, it's time to take a look in the mirror, and it's time to start reflecting. Thank goodness we're going to get 2 weeks, a week of reflection and a week of figuring out how to configure the game plan. Yeah. And I'm hoping that's what Kyle Shanahan does. And that's why I said, Peachy, the coaches, it's not that they're not on it's not that they're not on the same page. Kyle trusts his defense coach to do what his defense coach does. He always has. The moment Kyle starts coming in there and starts questioning the defensive coach, that's called micromanagement, and I don't like that. Now, can Kyle attend the meeting and give him some offensive tips and things and stuff? Yes.
That's what he apparently
absolutely
did this week.
Well,
that's what I thought that he did, if I'm not mistaken. I thought that they said that he attended.
That's what they said he did.
I'm not saying that he didn't.
That work.
Well, it was, defensively, the defense, in my opinion, has been consistently playing the same way. It's just that the offense has been able to put up points. The defense has been giving up yards. They've been keeping the point totals down, but the offenses have been playing with leads. In my opinion, the key is the offense. And for some reason, that ain't locked in. And it could be because we're missing the dog on the offense. I'm not going to get mad, but people crack on me about Deebo Samuel, and I'm telling you, we lost 3 straight without him.
I understand that. I just wanted to say that another thing that pissed me off about this game and got me screaming, Cincinnati hadn't really changed since the last time that we played them, to be honest with you. They really haven't changed. I mean, what personnel does the Bengals have that's so important that they didn't have the last time that we faced them last year? It was last year when we played them, right?
2021. So no, the
year before that. Sorry,
I see what you're saying.
So even worse. That's even worse.
They might not have been as cohesive then. They were new,
but they still pretty much had the pieces and.
But having the pieces and being
you're right, Breezy. It was a tight game.
It's 2 different things. So just because you got Jamar Chase in his rookie season,
was better.
and
our secondary definitely was better.
And so it's mainly our pieces are different. So you got Isaiah Oliver covering Jamar Chase. If your number one can't cover, if your number one can't cover Jamar Chase, how in the mother freaking love of Jesus is the number 3 going to cover Jamar Chase? Make that make sense, Sway. Come on, because it don't.
If anything, I'm finding a way to make sure that Oliver is on T. Higgins because of the size.
The size. That was what Will said.
If Mooney can't cover Chase, then give me another dog. Put Demo on him. Then I don't care if Demo is deficient in speed.
Whoa. Because be careful, because you said that, and that means if you put Demo on him, you're inserting Ambry Thomas.
No, you keep the same thing. You put you put Isaiah Oliver on T. Higgins. Mm-hmm. You put Demo on Chase, and you put Mooney on Tyler Boyd. What's wrong with that?
I don't like the Boyd matchup. I don't like the matchups.
So, perfect. Then we need to do what I've been saying that we need to do for the past couple of weeks, and we need to go out and find a corner.
And why is old man
whatever
Boyd?
We need to do,
whatever it
make
takes,
it happen, and we need to find a corner.
Whatever it takes, exactly. Whatever it takes to do it, we need to do it.
I still think
because if you don't like these matchups, Chase was cooking the hell out of Ward. So if you don't want to put Demo on him,
it's this
and
one
you
game,
don't like Mooney on Tyler Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do?
Because Isaiah Oliver, in my opinion, I don't give a who he's covering. I'm not going to curse this whole episode. He's terrible in coverage. I don't care who he's covering. He's terrible. You could put him on slow-mo Joe Molasses, and for some reason, he can't cover Molasses. He's just not a cover corner. I don't like him in coverage. I like him in run defense and making tackles and getting to the space to get somebody down. That's his strength. For some reason, he is just terrible in coverage. Can't cover tight ends, can't cover running backs, definitely can't cover wide receivers. He's the liability out there. So that's why the way we're built, now you got to incorporate
exactly
Ambry Thomas, put Demo in the slot, because you want your best corners out there covering their best guys. But there was times Chase lined up in the slot, and the best defender not covering the best. They're not following. They're not shadowing.
Right.
That's a Niners thing. So, defensively, it was bad. They gave up 31 points. But it was still scaffolded because the offense turned the ball over way too many times.
And that's where we are heading next. A lot of people have been talking about it in the chat. Guys, we're going to get to the offense. Don't worry.
Yeah, let's do some of these super chats
worry.
so we can narrow this down because they're coming in. Charles Hayes II says, and for the best, guys, I'm going to give one foghorn. I just don't like the sound right now. It didn't do anything for us today. Foghorn for all the super chats, all right? And for the best Halloween costume goes to Brock Purdy for coming out. And what he did was he unzipped it and then entered Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
I have a theory.
I love your theories.
I think this is a great comment. Appreciate you, Charles, for the contribution. And it's bringing a little bit of levity. We were able to kind of get a laugh or a smile out of it. I actually don't find it funny because I think teams, more specifically, I think defenses are starting to notice, wait a minute.
Yes.
This is the same offense that Kyle Shanahan took to the Super Bowl under Jimmy Garoppolo.
Reach it.
Yes.
Yep.
This is the exact same offense. Yeah, Purdy can do a little bit more off script. Mm-hmm. But he did the off script stuff today.
Preach it.
And it works at times. But
yes, sir.
Because he's so predictable, and now Kyle is so predictable, why do you think Logan Wilson was able to get a pick off? Because Kyle's doing the same shit that he did. Exactly. Because Kyle's doing the same shit that he was doing with Jimmy Garoppolo. He's just throwing the ball over the middle. Just expecting people to be open and teams to not recognize what you're doing and adjust to it.
And when they stop the run and they make you throw and they start stacking.
That's bullshit. See, I thought I wasn't going to curse. See, that right there is my issue with Kyle Shanahan. They don't stop the run. Just because we don't get 7-9 yards a pop isn't stopping the run. We were still averaging over 3 yards a carry with 5 people up front. They might put a front out there with 5 linemen and that 3-4 defense to make it look like they're going to take away the run. So you mean to tell me Kyle, our head coach, this mastermindful of a coach, doesn't have any plays to negate a 5-man front? We're used to seeing with Jimmy Garoppolo, if we keep it in the book, 8 people in the box, right? 7 to 8 people in the box. They play 1 safety back there. They're going to bring everybody up. Everybody's playing tight, and Jimmy, you got to throw the ball. This is exactly what I'm saying. So, Peachy, yeah, they present to stop the run, but why do we abandon it? Why do we go away from the run? You got a running back on your bench that's active, that can bust right up through the middle hole of all holes, named Jordan Mason, and Kyle chooses not to use him. And the moment you put Elijah Mitchell in a game, it's a negative this. He got 1 positive yard, and I put it out there because I wanted to make sure I put his positivity in the atmosphere. On the next carry, negative yards. I think that was on the offensive line, but still, negative yards. Like, Kyle, you can bust them 5-man fronts. Get tough. Back to what I was saying about our mentality is gone. There's no dog. 0 dog. We're pound puppies right now. Like,
Especially
0 dog.
Offensive line.
That offensive line looked like cans of tuna fish.
Yo,
it's ridiculous.
They off. Every single one. Cole McKivitz, Spencer Burford. I don't want to hear that barbecue or mildew shit no more. Because all y'all mildew. All y'all mildew except for Trent. And when Trent don't play, y'all look like a bunch. Y'all look like a bunch of pillows up there. There's no get a penalty. Can I get an offensive lineman get a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct for just taking a defensive lineman and just slamming him into the ground and then putting his hand on the side of his helmet and mushing that shit into the grass a little bit more? Like, can I get some of that? Can I get some intensity? And I mean, I hate to compare against older teams and former teams because that's back then and this is now. But do you think Boone and Yapati and Staley and Anthony Davis, you think that they wasn't mauling dudes? They was out there willing to put your face mask in the dirt every single play. And we got offensive linemen. If you talk about not being able to run the ball, eventually teams are going to want to stop the run. We talking about Christian McCaffrey scoring a touchdown in 17 straight games. I think also that's part of the problem. I want to throw that out there too as part of the outside noise and the narratives. I think Kyle is too focused on keeping this streak alive for Christian McCaffrey because Christian McCaffrey has helped him out and has been so amazing in his offense. So I think a lot of the game plan and what we going into,
he was worried about it.
Right. There's a little bit more focus on making sure Christian gets his touches, especially in the red zone, and make sure we keep that streak up. Again, that's another conversation. But like,
But what's wrong? I think something's wrong with that if that's the motive. But if they can't stop it, what's the problem? The issue for me is, Mose, why don't we continue doing it?
No.
Christian is the machine.
It's not that I get it. It's not that they can't stop it, but I think when you're too focused on that one thing, when you're too focused on that one objective, once we get into the end zone with Christian, once Kyle kind of sets up his opening script, his first 25 plays, and Christian gets in the end zone, it's like, okay, what do we do next? So when you're too focused on that one objective, because what we've come to know Kyle for is what he does in his opening script sets up stuff for later.
Not this week.
Not this year. Even in the games that we've won, we haven't really seen that. That really, really big play, that Kittle, coming around, running, a deep crosser. And because of something that we did in the first quarter, there's a mix-up in communication on the back end, and he gets a 75-yard touchdown because he's wide open, 30 yards downfield because there's a miscommunication. There hasn't been any of that.
What happened to the creativity on the segments? What happened to that?
Setting things
Where'd
up
that go?
for later.
Yes.
Big plays, explosive.
Where did all that go?
We got a couple of deep catches from Kittle.
I know all that didn't leave with Mike.
Deep catches
I know
from
that
Ayuk.
much.
No.
But like,
What happened was turnovers, trailing, and so like it and defensive game plans. So like it changes up things. I think I don't care about none of that. If you're winning, my question is why can't we adjust? So every team in the NFL can adjust, but you don't see you don't see the adjustments offensively. You just don't. You see vanilla. I'm gonna run it to the outside. I'm gonna run it to the inside. What if you just put fresh players out there? What if that was a burst? What if that even if you ran the same vanilla run?
like, you stop running that fucking toss, yo.
I hate it to the.
God.
I told you that last year and people laughed. It's the dumbest play.
Yeah,
It's
We stop
stupid.
running the toss.
I don't care if you go 1 out of 20 of them and you get a touchdown. It's still dumb. I don't like it. I don't mind stretching to the outside, but the toss, by the time that ball is caught, the lanes are being filled in, and now your running back is shit out of luck. Like at the end of the day, like I just feel like I don't think Kyle has to be creative. That's asking for like these trick kind of plays to happen. We've seen it. We saw positivity happen from it, but we just also seen more in sync, and Deebo Samuel was out on the field. I'm really starting to my theory simply is no Deebo, zero creativity, zero confidence in the offense. And then when you watch him revert to, because we're trailing, you have to let Brock throw, right? He has to. We're down. We're down by 10 points. We're down by 14 points. We're down by whatever points. He has to throw. That's the only way to come back. We can't run the ball. Hell, we ran the ball with Christian McCaffrey. It was a big run, but because he didn't go down quick enough,
Right.
clock
We didn't have
expired
any. Yeah.
at the half. It'd be simple. It'd be dumb stuff like that. Why you just ain't do that earlier in the game, Kyle? You mean that's not? I'm not saying that. My brother and my sister, I'm not saying y'all wrong about anything. I just be questioning it because my brain don't work the same way. My question is, why don't we try the stuff when we have the team out there with time on the clock? Why run the same simple halfback dive, halfback draw, delay this is that? Like what? So like Kyle, if you don't trust your offensive line, if you don't trust your playmakers, if you don't trust these players, like I don't understand. Like we shouldn't be getting mad when they go out there and make mistakes. Like at the end of the day, Kyle needs to just fall back, call the play, and let it unfold. We watched Brock Purdy do some exciting things today, and then we watched him be normal. Like make mistakes, mad of them, way too many mistakes. In my opinion, Brock
The red
Purdy,
zone one was absolutely uncalled for. You cannot do that.
It's you
You
know what,
can't
Peachy?
do that.
You're 100% correct. But you know what my issue was on that play? It was the cognitive ability of Brock, which I thought he was so much smarter. You know, he was making the right play. He was trying to make a play out of no play, right? And then why not float the ball over the head of the defensive lineman? You watch Trey Lance make that same interception. I think it was in preseason this year, right? Why didn't Brock learn from that? Like, float it over the dude's head. If he taps it down on a float and the lineman is able to jump 3 feet in the air, cool, you live
Can't
with
do
it.
that.
But it
Just
was a
cannot do
dart.
that
He was
there.
trying to get it, and it was the right play. It was right to Elijah Mitchell. It would have been a touchdown, possibly. You're right. Can't turn the ball over. I just thought it was poor execution, which leads me back to execution. That's not coaching. That's execution. Like, I'm so confused.
And I think if we go back and watch that play, somebody messed up. Because I think
Too many
Brock was
people over there?
anticipating somebody to do something. And
Right.
which is
Somebody to
why
be in
like
the-
when it didn't happen, I don't know if it was supposed to be a play action, but I think I remember when I saw that play, somebody did something that they wasn't supposed to do. Like it kind of threw everything off, and then that's when he had to scramble to the outside. But you're right, like you have to know that somebody's coming after you. You cannot throw a line drive in that situation. But again, when we talk about narratives and we talk about the outside noise getting in, you talk about the MVP candidacy, but now you've already thrown, in your last 2 games, you've thrown 3 picks. So now you're just where just need to get the ball out of my hands quick.
That was the
and
game
not
changer right
making
there, y'all.
not
No, it
making
definitely
a smart
was.
play.
Yeah.
That was a complete game changer because if we get in that end zone there, the game is tied
It's different.
17-17 at that point. And it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah. So it just, Teamster, we thank you for your super chat. I want to say Fire Wilkes, but 17 points on offense ain't it either. I don't know if we should make any trades at this point. We look so dysfunctional.
I mean, you got to make trades because you got to figure out how, what pieces. The Niners make trades every year.
Every year.
And so, I mean, if you want to, RG Teamster, if you want to go back to last year, the Niners weren't 5-3 by the bye. I think they were just at 500 by the bye, if I'm not mistaken. And they did what they needed to do, and then they went on a win streak. So that's kind of like the Niners' MO. This year, they just happened to do what Peachy asked them to do and start off hot. And now they're starting to cool off. But we're at week 8, so coming week 10, if they make the right trade for the right piece, the Niners could go on a win streak. I don't care how hard the schedule looks. It's just, this is what the Niners do. This is their MO. So there's some pieces, people want corners, but there's only one corner you want. There's only one corner that would matter. Other than that, there's not one cornerback in the NFL other than Patrick Surtain that we should want on this team. If you can't get Patrick Surtain, then you move on. But
And the 49ers will just have to just go do it. Like, they'll have to put their best foot forward to the Broncos with the relationship and everything they have to try to get it.
It depends on what the Broncos are asking for. If the Broncos are asking for 3 first-round picks and blah, 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 I mean,
it's rumored that they're asking for either a first or a few seconds. And a
like I
player.
said, it's rumored. It depends on what they're asking for. So, like, right now, if they're asking for something and it's feasible, then the Niners would probably go ahead and look at it. They are in the market of looking for a corner. So we're not the only ones that realize that corner is the issue. Also, they're looking for an edge rusher, which everybody keeps saying we don't need, which I don't know what type of freaking stuff y'all be watching
I don't know what
out on the football field.
Right.
But we need speed. I don't know if you understand, but these quarterbacks are dicing us up in the quick game.
Yes.
So if you got a quick speed edge rusher that can win on a first move with a move and get around and get in the quarterback's face a little bit quicker than what we've been doing, hopefully that will deter the vision of the quarterback making accurate passes. Like Joe Burrow. Was he 80%? Did he finish 80%, 88%? He was completing
88%.
Man, F that. He was shooting 90%.
Crazy.
From the field.
Yeah, the 49ers definitely need to get a pass rusher, which is what they realize that because they know what they're watching and what they're seeing and what the film is showing them. So that's why we are interested in a pass rusher. So I'm quite sure that that's what we're going to do. Like Breezy always says, and even in his five keys that he's talking about, these quarterbacks are getting the ball out so fast against this defense now.
That's the commonality of neutralizing.
It's crazy.
The pass rush,
Yeah.
So and here's my point, and here's how I know I'm right. So today, and we're praying for him because that's what we do. We don't care who you are. If something happens, you're in our prayers. Kirk Cousins gets hurt on a play.
Yep.
Possibly going to be out for the rest of the season if it's the Achilles.
It's
right?
already declared that it is.
It is.
Okay.
It's confirmed.
It is.
So he's done
He's
for
out.
the season. So
And he's
now,
finished with the Vikings, by the way, too.
So now with the Vikings, right now they don't have a quarterback.
Nope.
All right, here we go. On that play though, whether you can say it was contact or not contact, I don't care. It was play action.
It sure was.
It wasn't quick throw. It was, and I'm saying to myself, man, if teams respected us,
Did that. Right.
we would have more sacks.
Exactly.
But teams aren't. They know that the pass rush is ferocious. So I guess for me, the adjustment would be to just drop back in coverage and stop getting diced up and hope your front four can win.
Right.
That would be the only adjustment I think Steve Wilkes should make. I don't think they should fire him because they fire Steve Wilkes, man. Come on, who's gonna be? Who are we putting
You
in
can't
at the
do it in the
coordinator?
middle of the. You can't do that in mid-season. Like this team still has aspirations. Like we got to realize, even though, it may be bleak right now. I mean, this 49er team is too talented to just be like, you know what? That's it. Let's just, whatever. Now I don't know where we're gonna place. I don't know all that stuff. We may not have home field. But
we don't have it now, but that doesn't mean we won't finish with it. You know what I mean?
But I'm saying, but I'm saying like we may not. It's possible that we may have to go on the road. I mean, we don't know. All we know is that you can't fire coaches right now. Like it's not going to happen. I promise you that Kyle's not thinking about firing Wilkes. He's not. You can't. You just cannot do that now. Like you cannot. If we wake up and Monday's breaking news is that Steve Wilkes got fired.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
It would be monument, like just completely crazy.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it can't happen. I just don't believe that it will happen. But listen, Kyle loves his players.
Man.
So if a certain player goes to the head coach, like a captain, and says, listen, the communication, the language, it's not working. We're not playing, like my man Mike Andrews said, we're not reacting. We're not firing off the ball. We're not playing like that. We have to think too much which zone to play, which coverage to be in, who's the buzz, who's the cloud. It's a lot. It's a lot that they have to do. It's more thinking. And when you think, you're always a millisecond slower. Always a millisecond slower. Cousin Sid, Mose, you got this one, bro.
What up, Cub? Appreciate the contribution, man. Thank you so much. It comes down to running. Don't believe the other hype. The offense can't run consistently. It makes average quarterbacks look all world, keeps turnovers to a minimum, and keeps the defense less exposed. Opposing offenses are sitting.
Yeah.
I mean, I to go from the first 5 weeks of having two players in the MVP race to now having both of them nowhere near the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care that Christian has scored a touchdown in however many consecutive games. The numbers he was putting up in the first 5 weeks, he's not putting up now.
Nope.
And like you talk about, Breezy, this is a copycat league. If y'all think that the Vikings and the Bengals did not watch that Cleveland tape, yeah, we don't have a Myles Garrett. We don't have an Owusu Koromoa. We don't have a Zadarius Smith. We don't have a Denzel Ward or a Grant Delpit. But guess what? We're in the NFL. We know how to play this game. If we could do half of what Cleveland did, 75% of what Cleveland did.
It came down to game planning and execution, and that's why those teams beat the 49ers. They don't run
I'm still
five.
tripping that the Bengals only had one penalty this game.
At the end, too, on top of that.
At the
Fourth
very
quarter.
end, yeah.
Very end. So you mean to tell me, because, you know what, let me get to my other point. Because, Mose, you said something, and I was just going to say that lets you know, right, that when teams play the Niners, they're bringing their A game, and on top of that, they are sold in. Like, whatever they practice that week, they're in on it. They're not, if it's we're going to run 5-man fronts, cool. We'll run it all game. I don't care if people's tired. I don't care. We're going to run it all game. Force the Niners to make us get out of this front. And that's what we're not doing.
You know why they're sold in?
Why?
Because we have not proven that we can figure it out.
That's my point. But to Cousin Sid's point, we need to just run the damn ball. And if Kyle Shanahan can't figure out how to run the ball, that's a problem.
Yep.
When And this is probably why, Christian McCaffrey does get utilized. And I don't think he gets overutilized. I know a lot of people feel like he gets overutilized because they're scared he's going to get injured on every run play, and I get it. But my point is, that's the guy. You're paying $14 million to be a bell cow. He need to bell his ass cow right out there and continue to find a way to run this ball effectively, which he does. Christian McCaffrey, in my opinion, is never the issue. It's just the daggone play design. It's the way we're utilizing Christian McCaffrey. So if Christian McCaffrey needs a spell, then why not use Jordan Mason?
I just don't.
He ain't got a pass block on this play. Let him run. He ain't got a block for the quarterback if he running it, right? I didn't think they could do both. I didn't think you could block and then get the handoff at the same time. That's some different stuff. But if it's a run play, why is Jordan Mason, who clearly can bust up the middle he's a bigger back, he's a stronger back. It makes zero sense. We're choosing not to run the ball. Hold up. Because I haven't looked at any numbers. I need to. Let's add these up. Christian McCaffrey had 12 carries for 54 yards.
And 6 catches. He only touched the ball 18 times.
I just want to focus on rushing if that's okay. Because this is
Sure.
When we can't run, we don't lose. We don't win.
Yep.
Brock Purdy gave us 6 carries for 57. So Brock Purdy was the leading rusher on the San Francisco 49ers.
That's nuts.
And how many times do they say that when your quarterback is the leading rusher, that you have like a billion issues on your team? Because that's crazy. That
12 touches, guys. 12 carries. I don't care if we were trailing. It's not like they were blowing us out by 30 points. It wasn't like a blowout. Like, if we could have, we threw too much. And I know 31 times is not a lot, but let's add up. Let's go 12 plus 6 is 18, right? Plus 3 is 21. 25 carries. The numbers, I thought the number was supposed to be 40. What happened to that number? Now the Niners rushed over 100 yards, but dang, if you go to the Bengals, Joe Mixon got them 87 on 16 carries. And so that looked like Burrow's yards were complimentary. You can't have your quarterback, not in the 49ers offense. He's not Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
It's not Josh Allen.
Right.
It's not that type of offense. We have to get back to figuring out how to run the ball.
Yep.
Cousin said, thank you. Fish and chips. He says, don't get behind Kyle. Don't get behind with Kyle late. It's done and dusted. I was so optimistic, Fish and chips, at the half because we were only down by 4. And I thought the number was if we were down by 8, we wouldn't win. So I thought when we were down by 4, and then I saw that the Bengals had 0 penalties, I just knew at the half it was going to be a flip. The Niners were going to come out with a different type of energy, and then the defense just it was crazy. And I'll read this one because he gave 2 back-to-back. He says, chance of us losing on the bye week. Also, laugh out loud. I hope we don't lose any players on the bye week, but we'll find out about injuries.
I have a
Take this
feeling.
into account. Go ahead, BG.
Go ahead.
No, you got to take into account with the bye week, we will have not won a football game in over a month.
4 weeks. The month of October, or Brocktober, everybody was calling it, was terrible.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was.
And again,
was just horrible.
outside fucking noise.
Maybe it was horrible for Halloween.
Brocktober, MVP candidate,
The real
better
deal.
than Tua, playing better than Mahomes, playing better than Burrow and Herbert.
The real deal.
Yeah, but Mose, he was. So at the end of the day,
What happened to this right
we were
here?
winning,
but
and we
he
were
was
putting up 30.
he was
but
playing.
He was not playing better than Tua.
I'm not. What I'm saying is he was playing good football and helping this team put up 30 points. It's not like we rushed for all them touchdowns. My point is, why did that? Like, how did that get to his head? Is it because he's young? Is it because, like, how did the outside noise get in? I think that's my question. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why pay attention to it?
That's a better question for Kyle
Right.
Shanahan and the players on this
Exactly.
team.
And
It's
what
a
My bad.
better question because I
My
can't tell them
I know.
how that affected them.
I know.
But I know it affected a lot of the fan base because a lot of the fan base was eating it up too, which is why we titled the episode what we titled it. It's because it gets into, oh yeah, I really am good. We are taking the league by storm. We are untouchable. We're undefeated. We're putting up 30 points a game. We got this really, really good defense. We got all these weapons on offense. Ain't nobody in the league can touch us, especially after we just cooked Dallas.
I'm
cremated
Peachy,
Dallas.
Go ahead, say what you was gonna say, Peachy, because I know what I'm gonna say. I'm always gonna say it.
I just had two things to say. The first thing I wanted to say was, what happened to the Kyle Shanahan that didn't, like, give his players, like all this, like,
Praise.
heaping praise, like the real deal, and all this stuff. What happened to that Kyle before that, who you had to pull teeth in order to get him to, like, you can have all the media saying whatever and all the reporters, and he'll be like, yeah, well, we still got a long season. We got this, we got this going on, or, he's kind of still unproven, we're just what happened to that, to where, now it's like he himself, is putting out the names, like the real deal, and all these things, or when it was brought up about the MVP, and all this stuff, and he's all like, look at the numbers, and what happened to that Kyle that wasn't like that? That's one thing. And then the other thing that I want to say, and it's probably going to piss a lot of people off, and I don't care. We're the captains. You got that C that you wear on your jersey or whatever. Where are they? Like, how do you get beat by Cleveland? Your captains should step in, and it should be a total, like, they should have everyone ready. Like, that's the captain's job. The captain's job is to reinforce everything that is being said, like through coaching or things that they're seeing. What happened to the captains? That's offense, defense, that's everywhere. Like, what happened? There should be so many leaders, vets around. Like, what is going on here? That's what I want to know. Where, like,
Yo, what
where
if Nick
are they?
Bosa is playing like shit because he didn't get the captain patch?
Nothing surprises me about this team right now.
No. But I think you bring up a couple of good points, right? As far as Kyle Shanahan, I think that's a question we would have to ask him. As far as where the captains, I think we need to reassess. There's a difference between captains and dogs. Yo, I swear to goodness, Deion Sanders probably started.
He's ahead of his time, bro.
He's ahead of
his time.
Leaders
There's
and dogs,
and there's
there's dogs.
There ain't no captains.
There's no captains. And Peachy, I think that's what we're seeing. I think some of the people that may have the C's just aren't leaders, and we're not even acknowledging those that are regular dogs. And then we're always trying to put the dogs in the doghouse, or this is that and the third.
Yeah.
They need to let Dre Greenlaw just be a mother freaking dog.
Just let
Don't
him-
say he the
yeah.
best at anything.
Give me
just
a
let
penalty.
him be.
I'll take
Right.
one 15-yard penalty.
I would rather
from Dre
have that
Greenlaw
Greenlaw.
a week if that is what is setting the freaking tempo on
We
Sundays.
we need the tone set, right? And I feel like that to me is the difference, right? I think like the fact that Greenlaw ain't trying to knock a person, suplex a person. Yo, give me the suplex, dog. If you want a DDT, power bomb, tombstone, just take the penalty. You're gonna get fined. It's cool, but set the tone. Let these cats know we ain't nothing to F with. That's what we were at the beginning. When
Right.
Greenlaw was getting penalties, our defense was lights out.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this question: where Hufanga been? They different. It's and that could be. Hear me out. That could be scheme. That could be Wilkes trying to get him to be better in the coverage game. But Hufanga don't need to be better. He need to be the most reactive player on the football field. He ain't got one sack. Hufanga used to be the second coming of Troy Polamalu, and now all of a sudden he not timing his blitzes, and he can't get to the quarterback all of a sudden. Come on, man. That don't make sense. Yeah. So to me, that's Wilkes. That's him telling him, look, I'm going to make you – I know you was an all-pro, but I'm going to make you an all-pro. He was already an all-pro. If anything, just kind of, fine-tune him. But I think the fact that he's out there thinking and all that type of stuff, you're not getting the same reactive Hufanga to make those big plays. Like, you're just not getting it. Yeah, the interceptions are up. No doubt. Right. We're getting interceptions. Hallelujah. But if we're not capitalizing off them joints on the offensive side,
if we're just turning the ball right back over or not scoring points,
we give it right back.
What is that? Because it really doesn't matter.
We're giving it right back.
The next thing that I just wanted to bring up as far as the defense goes is Kyle was literally not bashing players whenever, he would talk about them. He would just say, this is just one game. I think that they played great. Got to look at the film, because there's still a whole bunch of things that we got to clean up, and this and that. And this is after we were just dominating last year. And my whole thing is whatever he said where he self-assessed and did whatever and all stuff, like, I just don't want him to do that. And that's why I was asking about the captains, because I'm like, the captains are supposed to be, like, not literally snatching, but, grabbing these dudes, like, hey, we got to get this crap together. Like, we can't, this can't happen. I thought that's what happened after the Browns game, because that's the mentality that they seemed like they had together, that they knew what they were doing. We had a great game plan. All these things that we had going on coming from the captains like Warner and whatever, saying they were angry. They were upset because they got embarrassed and they should have won this and that, whatever.
This is more embarrassing than any of them.
And did the same thing in Minnesota. And then, so supposedly they're locked in and they got everything. And, we got it right this time. We're straight, we're ready. We're going to make this homestand. We're going to go into the bye week and we're going to, stuff. And now you're going into the bye week 5-3. Something is not right. And they've got to figure out what it is. And we don't have a lot of time to figure it out.
It's nothing to figure out. We watched 3 weeks of them losing. They're missing tackles. They're not capitalizing off of turnovers. They can't score in the red zone. Brock Purdy's throwing interceptions all of a sudden. That's it. That's what we're doing. We're making mistakes. And then don't get me caught up in the actual mistakes.
Right.
Like the penalties, which it's got to be at an all-time high. Like, you can't come in here undisciplined. Mose just sat here and said, yo, I can't believe they got one penalty in this game. One. Yeah. They said, we're not going to make mistakes. Now, listen, I know they're subjective because the refs get to call what they see out there in the football field. But at the end of the day, you can't be the team getting the penalties. And imagine, we got called for 5. We got charged for 5, but probably called for 7 because I believe 2 of them were negated because they were declined.
Yeah.
So, like, it starts there. That starts with coaching. That's coaching. That if you can't get your players to be disciplined, that's coaching. That's why I put in the poll, were we outcoached? Right? Or I put that on Twitter. Was it execution? Was it the energy? Or was it the mistakes? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, we see it. I know they know it.
Option?
It should have been all of them, right? No, they was only giving me 4 options. But that's gonna come down to it's not gonna start with the captains. It's gonna start with the coaching, because the captains are only going to reinforce what their coaches are asking them to do.
Telling them, to try to relay it. JC, thank you for the super chat. Can't put that on Wilkes fully because he was picked over Vic because he was supposed to run the same defense we've been running. This is on the players.
Yeah, it looks like the defense concept-wise is the same. They're playing a lot more zone. Like the issue with zone is if you don't get to the quarterback's going to have time to get the ball. His receivers are going to figure out where to find space, and the quarterback accuracy comes into play. But if the pressure and you're not getting there in time doesn't affect that, then yeah, you're going to give up passes all day. So that's why it looks really bad. It looks really bad, right? Are we a better man team? We don't play it enough for me to figure it out, but I've seen us get beaten man. It's tough, right? Does Steve Wilks have the players that he's used to dealing with as far as size and whatever? Because if we go back to DeMeco Ryans and if we go back to Robert Saleh, I remember Robert Saleh being terrible, but he had a couple of years to get it right. So I feel like, why are we not giving Steve Wilks time to get it right? So we just got to take these punches, and hopefully he'll find a way to fine tune it or change his philosophy to fit who he has. That's kind of the way I teach. I don't have to prove I'm smarter than anybody. Me being smarter would be me taking something that doesn't work and making it work. That's how you do it. So will Steve Wilks do that? That's really the big question.
All right. Most.
49ers throwback. Appreciate the contribution. Those lower draft picks rounds are going to be nice. I know I need to chill. The season ain't over. 49ers have time to figure it out. But I don't see it. It's a long season. But if you think about it, we're at our midway point. We're 8 games in. We started off 5-0. We lost 3 straight. Now we're a half game behind Seattle in our division. We're 2 games behind Philly if we wanted to contend for home field advantage. So now, instead of controlling our own destiny, we have to hope and pray that the Eagles lose 2 games, one of them being against us, for us to leapfrog them back into first place. And this is why you cannot have these mishaps when it comes to execution and game planning. And when I told Breezy to title the episode Fool's Gold, I was thinking about everybody. I was thinking about us. I was thinking about the fan base. But I was really thinking about myself. Because the way this team looked the first 5 weeks on the field, but beyond that, it's what they were saying at the press conference. The post-game press conference, they weren't happy. They weren't smiling and excited and oh, yeah, we did this and we did that and we look really good. Everybody looked like this is what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah, we're winning. We're putting up 30. We're playing good defense. Offense is firing on all cylinders. And I said it on this show. I said this team looks like they are not satisfied.
I said that they didn't find themselves.
That winning one game, that's just a part of the road to where they want to go. They're not satisfied because they have not accomplished what they truly wanted to accomplish.
Right.
That's not the same team we're seeing right now. This team does not look locked in. This team does not look focused. Nope. This team does not look like this is just business. Now it's become something more than just being business. And I don't know what's on the mindset of the players, but what I saw in the first 5 weeks is that's not the same mindset that we have right now, and that's why we've lost 3 straight.
Can I say this? Do you think that we play better, when we're in a deficit the way we are, because of urgency? Say that we come out of the bye week. I mean, we know when we come out of the bye week, we got to roll off wins. We have no choice. Do you think that maybe this team needed this swift kick so that they could realize how urgent that goes for the coaching? I mean, that goes for everybody.
I don't know. They got their ass whipped the first time. After the
Yeah,
first loss, you would
I
think they would
understand
have
that.
came out with urgency. Then they
Right.
got their ass kicked a second time.
Yeah.
So now we at home and they couldn't come up with the
Right.
urgency. This is why Fernando says I don't see it. Like that's the most valid comment ever. Like this ain't even about us being faithful because the definition of faith is, making sure you're putting in the time and the effort to show so that I know that it will manifest at some point. Faith
Right.
without works is dead. Where's the works?
Right.
So like,
I like
when
that.
when you say that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in a normal situation, the back's against the wall, right? Absolutely. Wasn't the back against the wall when they lost to the Cleveland Browns? They got punched in the mouth.
I don't think so.
They were the dominant team. They were still power ranked #1 because it was just a blip in the schedule.
Yeah.
They played a strong defense. Then you got beat on Monday night
Yeah, they
to
let
Kirk
us
Cousins,
slide
who
once.
threw for over 400 yards because they couldn't run the ball. So they just threw it to death and beat us.
Crazy.
Right? And
Crazy.
then you started seeing these discrepancies in our quarterback game because we had a big argument about him being elite, being this, being that, whatever, right? Because he's starting to come down to normalcy. He's coming off of the Brock God pedestal, and now he just lost at home. He lost at home. Brock, that interception he threw was it. I don't care if we scored after that interception. I don't care if we responded. The energy wasn't there. The mojo, the mentality, the everything was gone.
Did you guys peep the look on Kyle's face?
I try not to look at it.
You know good and well that he was probably reminiscing like, why does this look familiar? That red zone that
Kyle
was
fix it.
bad.
Like-
That was a bad. Like there's no two ways about it. It was horrible. It was bad timing. It was everything. And Kyle's look, you can tell. I'm looking his face. He was just like, "Oh my God, is this happening?"
Outcome, Peachy, was absolutely bad. The play call wasn't bad. But the execution of the play call was bad. Brock could have simply just threw that ball out of bounds, took a hit, and moved on to the next play. But he was trying to make a play. So you have to fault him for making the mistake because that's what he did. Yeah. I don't see how you cannot fault Brock for not making that mistake. But you know what's worse than that mistake? That's the third time in a row we got to the red zone and we turned the ball over, whether it was an interception or fumbles.
Right.
Those were touchdowns. Those were momentum shifting plays.
Yeah.
That has been the common denominator in these 3 losses.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure we understood
Turnover in the red zone.
In the red zone.
CMC back-to-back weeks.
Fumbles.
And now Purdy this week.
Yeah.
Touchdown. And which, if he didn't step out of bounds, that was a pick 6.
Yeah. Yep.
Which would have really turned the tables.
Yeah.
Grizz, what up, baby? I think our D played much better in the second half, but if our offense does not open up, we won't take the next step. I
love this comment, and I was talking to my boy Joe, and he asked me a question. He said, "Tell me, Marcus, what did Minnesota or Cincinnati do so mind-blowing and explosive on offense the past 2 weeks?"
Screens.
They really didn't do anything mind-blowing on offense.
No. It was simple
anything
stuff
that we haven't seen.
Yep.
It was simple stuff.
Small stuff.
Even without Deebo Samuel, and I know you preach this because I agree with you. I believe Deebo adds a different element that when he's not there, this offense, it doesn't have the dog, it doesn't have the swagger. Like Deebo catching a slant or a screen and breaking 3 tackles and running through dudes and making dudes look silly, that hypes your team up. But even without Deebo Samuel, you still got Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
You still got Ayuk.
Yep.
You still got CMC. You still got a extremely potent utility knife in Kyle Juszczyk. And you mean to tell me that these other teams can do very simple concepts but figure out a way to move the ball on your defense and we can't match that?
Yeah.
Like at some point, we might have to get into a shootout with a team.
Right.
At some point, the score might be 38-35.
Yep.
Like
But it
was.
looks like from what we putting up, if we don't put up 30,
Right.
we're capped at 17 points.
Can't win games at 17 points.
Crazy.
We should be able to.
So we either put up 30 or we put up 17.
But here's the
If
thing
we put
that's
up
crazy,
30, we
Mose.
win. If we don't, we put up 17 and we lose.
You know what's crazy? We put up 30 and our defense doesn't give up 17 points. They give up between 13 to 17. Maybe we had 120-point game we won or something
That's
like.
true.
Like it's
Yeah,
weird.
we only gave up one game more than 17 points in our 5 wins, and that was to the Rams. They gave up 23. But against the Steelers, 7, Giants 12, Cardinals 16, Cowboys 10.
All I'm gonna say is, thank God that there's a bye week entering, and thank God we're 5-3. We could be 3-5.
I guess so. Super chat, Delvin, thank you very much. Now I'm missing Jimmy Ward because he tackles.
I put on Twitter that
Mm-hmm.
this is the issue right here. Everybody keeps saying we need a defensive back. We need this. What we needed was to make sure that Jimmy Ward would have stayed and been happy and just paid him, because now we talking about trading away assets when we could have just paid Jimmy Ward and you could have kept your first round picks.
Right, because
But
if
people
we get,
people
we
missing
gonna pay
that
more
part.
than-
Yeah, they missing that part. Oh, he didn't want to play nickel. Says
Right.
who? Says who? But at the end of the day, who cares what he wanted to play? You should have made sure you had him on this team
Right.
because he's that leader. That's a Now that's a captain.
That's right.
And that
Dog.
And,
Go ahead.
and besides that, though,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
why did we draft our first draft pick?
To be on the bench and learn, to redshirt his first year, to fill in.
That's not again fool's gold. That's not what we was told.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't going to play.
What were we told about Jair Brown, which is why we drafted him?
He was a ball hawk, and
Thank you.
and his tackles for a loss. But you know what? I can't fault. Football. If this defense isn't reactive, a reactive type of defense, which it doesn't seem like. It seems it's more read, got to know where to be at the right spot, all that type of stuff. He would be struggling out there. If we were in a losing season, I would say put him up there. Put him out there. I'm watching the All-Pro Gibson not figure it out. I'm watching he's not All-Pro, but the senior and Gibson still not figure it out. The All-Pro and Hufanga not be able to figure out. And I thought the reason why you got Steve Wilkes was to make that secondary better, right? Diamador Lenore may be the only dog out there, but for some reason he's like the most disrespected 49ers defensive player out there. Like he's clearly better than Mooney Ward.
Yeah, definitely true.
And if you want to know why Mooney was playing the way he was playing today, because he was having PTSD when he got cooked when he played for Kansas City and gave up over 200 yards to Jamar Chase. So I'm going to give Ward a round of applause because he ain't getting those 200 yards on him this week, but he still got cooked. So I'm just saying, like
10 for 100. That's not
Hey.
a round of applause. He gave up 10 for 100.
Listen, he got a round of applause because it was a 10 for 200 and 2 touchdowns. That's what it was. Now I don't know. We gotta watch the film so we can see what he was assigned for. We know he got 2 penalties on that, but the Bengals just had the better game plan. They knew that they were going to utilize Jamar Chase and put him everywhere on the field and make him the what? The X factor.
Yeah.
You want to know why the Niners are struggling? They're missing their X factor. And I know we don't want to keep beating around the bush, but that's the issue, Mose. That's why the Niners can't score over 17 points. And Debo can get you 0 points all game and still be an X factor because it's just the way the defenses have to focus, on him and what they
Yeah.
do. And the bright side is we hope that after the bye week, he's a healthy go in Jacksonville. That's what we gotta hope because we don't really know.
Yeah. So, did you guys hear in the fourth when no, actually they had said it before the fourth. It was talking about the defensive coordinator for Cincinnati. They were talking about how their defense gets better and better as the game goes on. And then like in the fourth quarter, after they've been able to figure out everything that their opponent is doing on the offense, that's when they just start shutting things down and playing like a whole lot better.
I mean, you could say that about any defense, though. When your defense is gonna play pass, it's simple. There's no time on the clock. Can't run the ball. It's just a situational football. It's the same thing that happened in Minnesota. They knew
Right.
we had to pass the ball, so that's like a wash comment. Like, it's common sense. Like, I'm not gonna play my run defense and I know you're gonna throw the ball. You're not gonna run, so why play my run defense? If you happen to run the ball and get a bunch of yards, oh well. But I'm gonna play pass defense. That's why I was so mad at Steve Wilkes on that all-out blitz. Like, the one time you should have played prevent, you didn't. Like, the one time you just rush 3 and drop everybody back with 16 seconds. You do it all the downs. All of them. All the downs. I don't care if they get 30 yards underneath. You keep them out of the end zone. You give up 3 points. Worst case scenario. So, like, that's what they play against. They play pass. So, of course, Brock's going to make those mistakes. He's throwing to like 8 defensive backs covering. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I just want to know where did the check down be? Like, where's that one guy that can slip?
That's true. So J-Dog says Hargrave's getting pushed around is shocking.
Just wasn't a good game for the defense, period.
It definitely wasn't. It absolutely was not. Jay Sean Page, thank you. What up, Niner? Purdy is learning and the defense is too good. D-line not winning in trenches all year and not playing the ball. Run defense not good. Niners no playoffs this until proven wrong.
That's why I said I'm not gonna sit here and go against what you guys choose to believe in because you've seen it for 3 weeks straight. This is what we're seeing. These are the issues. This is why we're having this conversation. Like, the run defense is getting chewed up. I mean, Joe Mixon looked like a first-round draft pick today. Like, he was firing out of the backfield. I told y'all don't be watching all the other little shows. Y'all only tune into this show. Y'all got to watch all the shows on this channel. We did a whole face-off about Joe Mixon. Guess who was the better back today? I'm just saying. Like, it. Anyway, yeah, the defense is going to have to figure some things out. But to me, if the offense is what it's supposed to be under Kyle Shanahan, 17 ain't going to cut it. Because now you're asking your defense, listen, give up 6, hold this team to 16 points. And you know what I'm going to never do anymore? I don't care about rankings. I don't care about who got the number 1 defense, who got the number last defense, who got the number 1 offense, it doesn't matter. Now, at least it doesn't matter against the 49ers.
No, it doesn't. It definitely doesn't matter against the 49ers. That's absolutely true.
And this is probably the most frustrating thing. The teams that played us shouldn't have beat us.
Right.
And in each one of these games, we've allowed a team to do something that they haven't been able to do.
Right.
All season long. Like, in it, whatever facet it was, the Browns, the Vikings, and the Bengals were able to do something that we either haven't allowed anybody else to do or they haven't been able to do against anybody else that they played. But when they play us, they find a way to do it. They find a way to run the ball. They find a way to pass the ball more efficiently. Yeah. They find a way to not commit penalties. They find a way to force us into making turnovers. Like, I don't know how this team is going through this complete 180 transformation. Like,
It's crazy.
we are a completely different team in a matter of a couple weeks.
We're literally hustling back.
Breezy, the team that we saw just a few weeks ago when we were in California,
That was totally different.
this is not the same team. And how quickly did that happen, bro?
They got punched in the mouth, bro. But like I don't know a lot about boxing, right? But it just seems like when the Niners got punched by the Browns, it's just like now we're losing rounds. It's a 12 round, 16, 17 round bout, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so now, but the bright side is they can figure it out. The question is how. Like, and it's gonna come down to winning some gritty freaking games. You know what? Maybe in the beginning of the season, teams didn't have their mojo, and we took advantage of that. Maybe they was just weak. I don't want to say that, but maybe what I mean by being weak is teams didn't know how to utilize their offense yet, and they didn't know how to get their defense in part. Like, they started slow. Same just how we used to be. Like, we used to start slow, and then all of a sudden we flipped the switch. We got cohesive. Next thing you know, boom, 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 we were on a run. So maybe some teams were like that at the very beginning. We just took advantage of that. It's part of football. You do that. You take advantage of the people that you play. Go ahead.
Just had a thought. Do you think Kyle's messaging to the team was misinterpreted? Or maybe they took it wrong. They didn't like his messaging. Because I want to say so bad, be careful what you wish for. Because you just mentioned it. We got to find a way to win one of these gritty games.
They got to figure
But
it
ever
out.
since Kyle said that shit, before the Cleveland game, we've been in 3 gritty games, and we have not found a way to win either one of them.
So that means you're starting an anarchy that the players aren't bought in. It could be something.
I'm not saying they're not bought in.
It could be that
But
though.
like, is that messaging saying, yeah, we're doing good, we're 5-0, everything is great, but we need to find a way to win these gritty games? Do you think that messed up their mentality of him saying that and them interpreting that as, do you think we're not gritty? Do you think we're not tough?
But maybe
Do you think we're a soft team? Do you think we're a finesse team?
do they look soft?
And maybe because of him saying that and him introducing that concept,
Like
now it looks like we seem to be playing like a team that's not gritty, like a team that's not
exactly.
tough.
I don't know if that. I don't think so. I think that's a little too far fetched for the gritty
How?
players, because we've seen these players play gritty football games and win gritty football games. We just
Not
ain't
all
seeing
of
it.
them.
We haven't seen them play it this year, but we've seen them win gritty games. We've seen the defense be the worst defense in the league and the offense gritted out. We've seen the offense be the worst offense in the league and the defense gritted out. So I'm not saying
But
that.
you're saying not this year, so it's not the same players.
Not all of them, like you said.
I think
Like,
we can
not
count
all of
on.
them.
I think we can count on 1 or 2 hands who are our gritty players, like who are our dogs.
Well, yeah, yeah. But we
And maybe this is an exercise that we could take into tomorrow's show. Who are our dogs, and who's not a dog that we need to start stepping up and being a dog. So I think we have a few, but I don't think that dog mentality resonates through the entire roster. So when you have your coach saying, yeah, guys, this is great, we're 5-0, blah, 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 but we need to find a way to win these gritty games. We need one of these muck it up, grimy, dirty type of games, and we need to find a way to pull it out. And you don't pull it out in the first one, and then it's been a domino effect. So I'm not saying the players are playing differently on purpose, But I think him putting that out in the atmosphere, now for your players who ain't dogs, for your players who are not your Fred Warners and your Dre Greenlaws, now they're thinking, damn, is coach calling me out? Is he saying I'm soft? Does he think I don't have a gritty mentality that we need a game like this in order to see if we got it? And now it's just been this domino effect into you lose 3 straight games and it kind of got mucky and you can't find a way to get your boots out of the mud.
I wouldn't say that this game right here was gritty. They just got their asses whipped. But if
Oh,
I would
yeah,
go back to the
definitely.
last 2 games, them was some gritty joints. Like, and
Especially the Browns one. That was
yeah, because like at the end of the day, your quarterback did what he needed to do, got you into the game winning position, and your kicker doesn't go out there and make the field goal. So
we had several other chances to win that game.
right,
as
should we
well.
have been in that position?
Right,
No.
exactly.
But we were,
shouldn't
and
have
we
came
lost
down
it.
to the kick.
I thought the
J-Dog-
Vikings. Hold on.
Oh,
I thought the
sorry.
Vikings game. I just don't see the same fight, and that to
Right.
me that's my issue.
Yeah,
And so
I
like
understand.
it just seemed like the players. I'm not saying they soft. I'm not saying they finessed. They just seem. They don't seem in sync. They don't seem like they're sold in on the message or whatever the message is. They seem a little distracted.
Right. Yeah.
So I
which
don't
is
think
why
it's
I'm-
because of grit or the message of grit. They have to
Right.
figure out how to win gritty games because this team ain't full of finesse players in the league.
Right.
Not every league, every team in this league is full of gritty players. It's some finesse people out there. It's some people that's gonna come dime you out, dress you up. They're gonna come with some different stuff. But the Niners got to get back to the mentality to where
because it doesn't
they the
have
bad
to be-
boys.
because it doesn't even and the thing is like if they don't figure it out, I mean, we're not talking about some high-powered teams that we're just gonna have to face coming up. I mean, we could get beat by Jacksonville. We could get beat by any. I mean, you can basically just get beat by anybody unless you figure out and look deep inside yourself and figure out like what it is. Because to me, like I said, something's off. There's something off and they're not in sync. And that's what the problem is. There's something there's some kind of breakdown in communication. If there's players that are trying to learn something new, it's not kicking in. And that's why I was asking, like, where are the captains? Because the whole point of having that C is that you're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be able, just like Breezy and Mo said, to relay these back to these teammates that are having these issues. And it's your job as a leader to keep tabs so that you can see, you know, like in practices and everything like that you can see what's going on. And if somebody's struggling, if they're struggling with the lingo, Kyle's plays are not the easiest in the world. So if you know, that's just, to me, like, that's what frustrates me, because we're supposed to have all this leadership on this team, but right now it just doesn't seem like that the leaders are leading and doing what they need to do, at least from the outside looking in. Something's wrong, because we're 5-3. And we should not have lost 3 games, especially when what you're telling the podium, when you're up there and you're talking to the media, you know, oh yeah, you know, everybody's locked in. We got this, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's mad, you know, because they lost. They know what they have to do. We just all have to come together for one common goal and blah, blah, blah. And then you lose. And then you come out there and say the same thing this week. And then you lose bad. Like, we didn't just barely lose this game. Like, we got beat
Yeah, it's
by
like
this
when we
team
got
at
beat by the Chiefs.
home. Right.
Got beat back.
And it just, you know, that's what's so frustrating and breaking the heart, because we're better than that. And you have people that are out there talking about 49ers aren't any good.
See, that's where I question you.
That's crap, because
That's not
we
crap.
are good.
How are we good if we lost these 3 games then?
Because it's not, because
Because if we were good, we would have figured out a way to win these games. You just told me that the captains, why are they not doing their job?
I know
Why the
that.
coaches not doing their job? So what if we're just not that good?
as
It's a
far
possibility.
as the talent
What if we're not
on this team,
what if the talent isn't
it's
that
too
good?
good.
You're
What if the
missing.
talent ain't
What if
that
the
good?
talent isn't
Because
good, Peachy? Because if I'm
we-
watching a player
because
out
we
there
just
that
won five games, and we didn't just win
and
five
then we just
games.
and then we just lost 3. So
we literally
but
dominated.
we literally just lost 3 games.
The same people.
But we lost
I
3 games,
believe
right?
That this team is talented enough
I
to
didn't-
win
I
a
didn't-
Super Bowl.
I didn't say that we weren't
They
talented enough.
are.
You're missing what I'm
They-
saying. So go ahead and finish because you're missing everything that I'm saying. Because talent ain't going to get you to win gritty motherfucking games. Talent doesn't win. You are a basketball person and you know that you're let's talk about Anthony Davis because I love it because me and you had an argument the other day. What you say about Anthony Davis? Ain't he talented? One of the most talented players in the NBA, right? What does he lack,
Yep.
Peachy? What does he lack? Starts with a G. What does he lack?
Oh,
Grit.
grit.
He lacks fucking grit. And he
Toughness.
can't be consistent on the basketball court every
Because
night
he's
because
soft.
you complain about it, right, Peachy?
Yep.
What if we're in that same predicament? What if we have
And I love-
players? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you got it. I was cutting you off.
What
You
if we
wasn't
have we do have talent? That's why I'm not arguing about the talent, but what if the talent isn't that good yet? What if it's taking more time to learn these plays that are extra complicated? What if this is why we don't see Jordan Mason? We see Jordan Mason get 6 yards of carry. Kyle Shanahan says Jordan Mason don't know the plays. See what I'm saying? So like that, it could be so little intricate things. And I just feel like the captains, they need to figure out ways to reach the players. That's their job. Their job is not to teach players anything. Their job is to be a good model and to reach the players. Get in sync with these players. Figure out what's wrong, all that type of stuff. What if the players lack the ability to learn? What if they lack the ability to unleash their talent? What if they lack the ability to be able to go out there and perform? What if they lack the ability of getting over missing miss a field goal? It's so many little things, and that could be a huge difference. And the difference between the two teams last year, this year, more veteran players last year. Got a lot of younger players on this team this year. So did they win? Were they dominate? Yeah, but they're not now. So what we did in the past don't matter. We got to figure out how to fix this. And where we just lost 3 straight. That's the only issue. The first 5 don't count. They in the books. We 5. Luckily, we started off hot like you asked for, Peachy. We started off hot. Now we're slowing down, just like you said at the beginning of the show. And so now, how can we pivot from this loss, this break? It's all about the pivot. I'm going to talk about that all week long. It's all about pivoting.
J-Dog
And I love
Boston.
what just happened right there between y'all two. Because, and we call it, we love this show because we come full circle. To answer your question, Peachy, about the captains, I think our captains lack what just happened between you and Breezy right there. How y'all was able to get heated and talk about something but not take it personal. And I think I will never question the brotherhood of a football team. I've been in the locker room. I've been on teams. I know that you have a brotherhood with those guys. But seeing these guys together and seeing all of the additional clips that we get from 49ers media, they too friendly. They too friendly. And I'm not in the locker room, so I can't say this for sure. But if you're asking the question, I think part of what we're missing from our captains, ain't nobody checking nobody. Ain't nobody grabbing somebody's face mask and chewing them the hell out for not handling their job or doing their assignment. A couple of weeks ago, I saw Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown going at each other.
Yeah.
What's been happening ever since?
Yo,
A.J. Brown, 6 straight games with
Cooking.
over 125 yards receiving.
Cooking.
And that's what happens when you have that brotherhood relationship. Sometimes brothers fight. If I got on this show and my takes was trash and I wasn't prepared and I didn't have my stats right, I would expect Breezy to check me. And even if I'm feeling some type of way and me and him going about it, 1, I know it's not personal because 2, he's looking out not only for the best interest of the show, but for the best interest of me. And for us to be better, if I need to be checked because I'm not handling my business and doing my shit right, I expect you to check me. I expect him to check me. I expect Fair to check me. And I don't think there's an expectation of if I'm not doing my job right, I'll get checked. And I saw some of that when it came to Jake Moody. Now, understand they want to be delicate because he's a kicker. He's a rookie. It happens. But I think that mentality of, we just going to lift him up. We're going to encourage him. Da-da-da-da. No. Mm-mm. I need some Ray Lewis. I need some Ronnie Lott. I need some Junior Seau. I need some Ed Reed. If you're not doing what the fuck you supposed to be doing, if you're not in your position, if you're not doing right on the offense or defensive side of the ball, somebody that's a captain need to grab you by your jersey collar or grab you by your face mask and wake up. Be where you need to be. Do what you need to do. And I think we're lacking that from our captains.
Biggest part of that is holding players accountable. And that's what captains are supposed to do. You earn the captain patch because you have the ability to do exactly what he said. I think the only difference is just today's generation. And I don't know how you could play football and not have some type of fired up aggression. Everything can't be soft and passive. Oh, it's okay. You'll get better the next time. Go out. No. You can miss the field goal. You better make that shit the next time. Like it's like you gotta. I'm with you, bro. Like I'm from that school of hard knocks, and that's what's missing. And that's what the Niners need to do during this bye week is go back to the school of hard knocks. But you know where it starts? Freaking coach.
Yeah.
Yep. Because Purdy got this C. Has he ever yelled at a receiver for dropping a pass? Has he ever yelled at a receiver for not running the correct route or not being at the right depth?
He slammed his helmet down last week whenever Kyle had called a timeout or something, because I guess he had got whatever he was talking about when he called that timeout, and he got mad and he slammed his helmet. That's the only time that I've seen him get mad was last week.
Yeah, but as a captain to your fellow teammates, has he ever done any of that? Why does he have the C? If you the captain, especially at what we deem the most important position, if you got a wide receiver that's not running the right route or that's not at the proper depth, or if you delivered a good pass and he's dropping the ball, why not check him in game? We've seen Tom Brady do it. We've seen Peyton Manning do it. We've seen Jalen Hurts do it. We've seen Patrick Mahomes do it. It's all a part of the game. Right. If everybody's supposed to be doing their job right, and you not doing your job right, and it's messing up everything for all 11 guys on this offense, if you got that C on your chest, say something to him.
Which is interesting because who was it that was talking about that they were talking or something when Purdy was trying to explain something? He told him to shut up. Somebody in the offense, I forgot who it was. But
wasn't it Kittle? Wasn't he telling Kittle to shut up?
That was last season, right?
That was last year, right?
Yeah, some like he had just took over, and somebody was talking over him or something, and he told them to shut up or something like that. It was just, we got a lot of super chats. Let me run through some of these real quick. J-Dog Boston, thank you. Kyle, can your offense carry us? Genius, as #Boston in the MF house.
I think with that missing piece, that key piece, it's gonna be tough. It's going to be tough. The key piece is Deebo Samuel. I could care less what anybody thinks or feels. I'm coming full fruition that Deebo needs to be into this offense some way, somehow. I don't care if he's even a decoy. There's something about Deebo being out there on the football field. I wonder if is it his mentality? Is it that? Is it what? I don't know, but I just know the way he lines up, where he lines up, when he lines up, it affects the way the defenses have to play.
Did not like it all today the way that Juszczyk was used either. I know that he got that last push that he made to get that one, but before that, the one where he got stood up because they knew exactly what he was doing. I don't like the way this only thing that irks me about Kyle. Like, if you're trying something and you put somebody out there, that defense is going to lock down on them because they're going to know that this dude has barely even been in the forefront all day. And then all of a sudden you put him out there to try to do something. That's why the first one didn't work. We got lucky on the second one because they were actually talking about that it wasn't a first down, but they gave it to us and made it a first down because of how the push was and over. That was just another thing that I wanted to bring up. Fish and chips, Thank you for the super chat. Did Kyle Lynch play us 5-0 contract extensions?
Nah, because they talked about the contract extensions being done before the season even started.
Yeah,
and
before
then
it even got started.
They
Yeah.
just made the announcement after the 5-0.
Right. Charles Thomas, I said they need to go all in for a cornerback. Tag Ayuk.
Yeah, I mean, again, I just want to know. I want to know if I'm Steve Wilkes and I'm on this hot seat and we have the ability to give me some pieces, then I want Steve Wilkes to get a corner that he would want. And then if he still continues to screw up because that corner doesn't play his style of, you know what I'm saying? Then we could start really charging some stuff to Steve Wilkes. But we have to take into account that Wilkes inherited this defense. He inherited these players, and now he's trying to install his philosophies. And that could be the ripple. But what if it's my conspiracy says, what if it's part of the game plan? And what if it's part of them just fixing, fine-tuning things so that way down the road they end up being better? It could happen. We watched this team be 3-5 and win out. Like, we've watched it. Like, we've seen it. So it's not over yet. But, the cornerback out there, cool. Tag Ayuk. I don't even think they'll have to do that. I think they have the money to pay him. I think they'll pay him.
Yeah. RG Teamster, thanks for Super Chat. The secret to pass coverage is pass coverage. If this team is going to trade for someone, don't give me some Pro Bowl alternate DB. Surtain or bust.
It's got to be Surtain, Teamster.
Right. But ultimately, this team has no dog. The dog ran away.
Yo, we talked about dogs all off season.
Mm-hmm. We did.
Yo, he
had a lot of shows about
pass coverage.
It's pass
coverage.
Listen,
yo, that's so sad
really
that he has
good.
to tell the NFL team that.
Yo, there's only one DB that would make this defense go from night to day.
Yep.
And like Peachy said earlier, just go all in. Like, F those picks.
Right.
And they keep winning. And they just beat the Chiefs. So I don't think they're going to trade them now.
They might not trade him now. It's funny. Isn't that funny?
It was interesting because
no, it's
not. Pat Mahomes, I guess he has like the flu or something like that.
I don't give
still played.
Michael Jordan scored 17,000 points with the flu.
No, but what I was
listen,
saying
that's the same thing they said about Purdy.
That's going to be their excuse. They're going to say that it was because Pat Mahomes had the flu and whatever. So we'll see what Denver does. I know who is having a fire sale starting probably tomorrow, and that's the Vikings, because their season is done. And
yeah, we talked about Kirk Cousins being
they're already announced. Yeah. JP Hellahard, thanks for the super chat. Perfect timing for the bye week. We need it. Either embrace it or carry it. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, I mean, that's the glass half empty, half full thing. That's how you could look at it. Like, we're winning. We have a winning percentage. We have a winning record. The issue is we lost 3 straight. Is this the trend downwards? So that's why we have to have these conversations.
Yeah.
But he's right. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Again, got to figure out how to pull out some of these gritty games, especially on the road. At home, I just thought we would have came out with way more energy.
Yeah. Yeah. I was kind of flat too. I agree with that.
Same thing.
Okay, sorry. Thank you, JP Hellahard, for the double super chat. And Cynthia says, Rose admitted that they were feeling themselves the first 5 games once the Browns punched them in the mouth. Shocked the downwards. Bosa admitted they were feeling themselves the first 5 games once the Browns punched them in the mouth. Shock, downward spiral. By the way, Seattle just beat the Browns.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're in first place.
They did.
By half a game. We haven't played them yet. We'll see them on Thanksgiving. But next up, we got to figure out how to take care of them red hot Jacksonville Jaguars don't seem to be losing. Got a 5-game winning streak going down there. So.
Yeah, they're also feeling themselves. Miss Debbie, thanks for super chat. I think there needs to be a player-only meeting to set each other straight and call out each other's errors.
I agree.
Of course.
1,000%.
It needs to be one of those. It needs to be a coach to captains meeting.
Mm-hmm. It
needs
definitely
to be
needs a coach to captain's meeting.
coach to coach meeting. Like
Everything.
it needs this need to be a week of meetings. Take 2 days, reflect, and meet. That's what they should be doing somehow in a bye week. Matter of fact, if this was me, my mentality, if I was in this situation, I'd be like, listen, fam, I love y'all. I know this is my off week. I'm just gonna we not right. I'm gonna be here. I gotta figure out. I'm gonna see if I can keep a group of guys. You know, you guys can come visit, but I need to stay here at this facility. We need to get right. Like that would be my mentality. I don't like to lose. So I
As
don't
a
know
what?
how as if staying there and trying to get these guys onto the same page. So I would be
No.
staying.
As a player or as a coach?
I don't like to lose, period. Oh, you mean if I was a player? I'm
In
sorry.
your scenario.
Yo, if I was a player, I would be like, listen,
Okay.
fam, I love y'all. Y'all, look, I'll set it to where y'all could come stay with me for a couple of days. We could spend some time, but I got to stay here. We're losing. I got to be. And this
Right.
is even if I'm not a captain.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to figure out a way to win. I got to figure out a way to be better. I got to figure out how to be a better communicator. And this could all just come down to just communication.
Right.
Listen, they don't look good on the football field. They look like they're lost offensively
Yes.
and defensively.
I told you.
Yes.
it's
And
just-
special
it just
teams.
seems there's just something off. It's just weird. It's really weird that
Yeah, we gave
something-
up another big return on special
Big
teams
return
today.
on special teams,
That's
which
why
led to points.
I
Bro.
said it's everywhere. I think that Eddie D might be having a conversation with Jed, which in turn means that he's having a conversation with. I'm sure they're all having some conversations, and they're going to have some over the next couple of days. So that's why I think the 49ers are going to make a move, whatever it takes to right this ship. It's going to have to happen, and I think it's going to come like it did before when Eddie D got involved, and then everything kind of changed and everything got a little quiet. Wasn't all that loud stuff and celebrating and going on these trips and having all this fun. It was just, about getting your shit together. Nick, thank you for the super chat. What's up, family? Had this as an L since to get, but it's the previous 2 games that get me. Debo is definitely missed, but coaching on both sides need to be addressed. 41 points combined in 3 L's.
Yeah, I had this as an L2. I didn't like. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the matchups.
I had it in one, but like he said, it's the ones before it. The Browns was just crazy, and the Vikings, that was just even crazier. I'm there for that one. CJ, thanks for super chat. Last 3 games, I do not recognize our team. I think we need to really look at Kyle Shanahan's ability to adjust. Without Debo, our plays are extremely predictable.
Please don't get Breezy started.
No. I can't do that. I was just trying to line them
You
up.
mean
So-
to tell me Kyle Shanahan doesn't have another option
Yeah.
to be utilized in the motion game? Like, you know what would have been dope? Because Peachy said earlier that we don't try to surprise teams anymore.
Yep.
You know what I would have did? We did it year 1 with this player. I would have lined Brandon Ayuk up in the backfield.
Something.
Like, I would have did something just to say they not ready for this. Punch them in the mouth first because they not ready for it. Ayuk could run the ball out of the backfield. He did it his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, we went away from it. I didn't say line him up and run halfback dives. It's not what I said.
Right.
But you could have utilized him in motion, made him go out, put Jawan Jennings in the slot. You could have took advantage of that freaking rookie. Like, we didn't do the things that I would have done to make sure that my team was in the best position to win.
Right.
Knowing that Deebo Samuel wasn't out there. And that's without Trent. So Kyle got to be better. His game planning is just,
Yeah.
I didn't even know Wells pooped.
So here's something that I run across, and I never read anything that this dude says, and that's just my personal preference. I know you guys probably don't have a problem with him, but David Lombardi put out this, and it was very interesting. I thought something that Peachy never does on an Overreaction show is read something positive. In 1988, 49ers were in the building today. That team started 4-1 and fell to 5-3 after losing 10-9 to the Bears in Week 8. The next week, Steve Young delivered his famous run against the Vikings. Joe Montana later returned, and SF won the Super Bowl. Just a model we might want to think about for 2023 that the 49ers might be able to follow. So I was just trying to leave something positive because it's something that I never do. So I thought I would try something new too, since I guess the 49ers are going to be trying a lot of new things when they try to figure out what's wrong with them during the bye week. So
different players, more money involved, different mentalities, different game, different penalties, same fucking refs. I don't know. I mean, I didn't expect the Niners to lose this game, and they did. But hey, look, there's always a bright side to everything, right? Tommy, this team is lower than well poop. Yeah. They're on a low moment right now. They're on a low moment. They really are. Very low moment.
Are the answers in the locker room? Trading assets at the deadline is a bad idea now. Purdy should not have played. I held my breath on his head first diving scramble. He held his head after a big hit. Yikes. Only thing that I want to say real quick about the Brock Purdy thing, because I've seen this all over social media. If Brock Purdy was dizzy or feeling weird or whatever, he had some really, really great throws in this game. Like some like pinpoint throws to Kittle, Ayuk. I mean, so I don't think that was it. He made bad decisions. He's making bad decisions, and he made a bad one in the red zone. Like, that was all him. Like, regardless of whatever, like, I can't blame Kyle for that, because like Breezy said, some of it's just execution. That was a bad, like, it's okay for us to get on to Brock, because like this whole show has been about, we're up here just putting these guys on a pedestal and they haven't accomplished anything yet. And they haven't, because now he's out here just throwing picks, and he was not doing that.
I mean, his head didn't slam to the ground to the fourth quarter.
Right.
2 minutes, less than 2 minutes.
So that's not, yeah. So that's why I don't even want anything about that. He could be. I'll tell you what is really scary: if Brock is starting to regress a little bit. That is what people should be more worried about. Is he regressing just a little bit, and maybe his regression coming back to the mean? Maybe that's just what this is going to be.
It's just tough,
because
right?
We don't know.
Because Brock, it's tough because Brock is missing the screen aspect of his game. Now I know he's a great intermediate route guy.
Yeah.
But because of Debo missing and throwing up the screens and the motions, which would force the defenses to stop a lot of that front five, all that crap, right? Because the guy's got to cover. So if you want to rush five, Debo's open. The screen is going for a long, right? So like, it's tough, right? So yeah, like that doesn't mean he needs Debo to win, but a lot of the times we're trailing. And so like if we're trailing, they're playing pass. And so like Brock, these are the growing pains. These are growing pains. Mm-hmm. Is he regressing? Possibly. But he's got to go through these growing pains. Exactly. This is what football is like. Right. You're not going to always have your best players out there on the field. The question is, if you are a superstar, if you're going to be this elite guy, then how are you going to make the players that you have better? Right. And so, like, that's what Brock's going to have to figure out to do, and that's where his voice as being a captain. Listen, I got you. Listen, we need to do this. We need to do that. You know what I mean? And so, like, it's just crazy. Like, even in this game, what was that? The last play of the game was to Ray McLeod. It was a screen, right? So why didn't we use it at all throughout the whole game? I just, that's not all on Brock, but he made plays. But he also made mistakes.
Right.
And you're going to have to live with the mistakes. And sometimes the Niners are just going to fall short. The whole purpose is they got to figure out how to win out some of these grit games.
Right. And you just Like the red zone thing, though, like it wasn't an issue, and that's why I said maybe he's like regressing to the mean a little bit, because that was one thing that we were good at. Like when we got to the red zone, like we were putting it in. I mean, Dallas was the one that was having all these problems, like getting in the red zone, and other teams, were having problems doing that. And now we're getting in the red zone and mistakes are being made, whether it's a fumble or
But I don't see that as regression. Like some people might not look at the mistake we saw because he made the mistake. Some people just really feel like the defensive lineman made a great play. So like that's not him regressing. He's never been in that scenario before, right? So he just failed that test. So then we'll have to see if he'll pass it again.
Right.
Will he float the ball over the next time, or
Got you.
will it be, because we watch Brock do some crazy stuff, right? Stuff that you're
Right.
told not to do, like throw the ball across the field
Yeah.
when you're going one way to get the throw to George Kittle after George Kittle dropped the ball in the previous pass, right? And I tell you what, Brandon Ayuk, you can't drop that pass, bro.
God,
I know you
no.
call every other pass, but that one pass, because that was a play where the Niners got the ball back, and I said, listen, they're smelling points, whether it was 3. We could have either been up by the half or down by 1. And what happened? Ayuk misses that one pass, hits him in the face mask, and next thing you know, boom, half over with. See, it's little stuff. It's little stuff. Everybody got to give that 0.1% more. That's what we're missing. That's what we're missing. Everybody's not giving that percentage.
Yep.
That's the issue. I'm telling you.
I honestly believe, in my opinion, that like the Mitchell project, I believe it's over.
It could
It has
could
to
be
be.
over.
Because, oh
like
my
we don't
God.
need to see it anymore.
How was your longest run 5 yards?
Right.
But your
It just-
stat
I-
sheet ends three carries
Yeah,
for
I
2
can't-
yards.
I just, it's got to be over.
Look, when you watch the film though, the motherfucker soon as the ball was hiked, why is it when the ball is hiked to him, the defense is in the backfield? So like that,
Right.
like every time he's tackled for a loss, it's not like he's not getting where he need to get to his spot. It's just the defense know it's gonna be a run.
Yeah.
At what point do we hold the interior offensive line under fire?
I've been waiting to do it for a long time because they're not even graded high. They're bad. Like this.
The law offices, and it's crazy that all of them is B's. The law office of Banks, Brindle, and Burford
Are terrible.
been losing a lot of cases.
Triple B.
Bro, I'm telling you, the fact that Trent Williams isn't out there, that's the one captain that will help bring up a group. For some reason, him not being out there, everybody struggles.
Yeah.
Him being out there, left side, 0 problems. Center to the left, you good. See? It's little stupid stuff, man.
It's bad.
But their run game, the run blocking, it's been terrible. We got a couple more super chats. J-Dog says Tyson Fury lost. Not into boxing. Can't really get into it. We had one more from Miss
He did,
Debbie.
though.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know how he won that off a split decision. Maybe obviously because he's
Also,
a
he
better boxer.
won, but he lost, is what
He
you're saying.
won. He won off split decision, but I think he lost that.
Got
fight.
you. Got you. Miss Debbie says, and the fact that the team lost like this with all our alum, that's what Peachy was saying. It's not a good look. It's not
At
a good
all.
look. It's
At
not.
all.
It's not, but they shouldn't have been out there trying to impress them. They should have been out there focused, locked in, just to secure a victory. And maybe that was a distraction. Maybe the fact that the team was out there was a distraction. Maybe it deterred them from what they really were supposed to be out there doing. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense, but it's a possibility. You know, like for example, as great of a musician as I am, when I see my mentors in there, I choke up. For some reason, they still intimidate me. Like they still make me, like, you know what I'm saying? So I might make more mistakes than I normally would make that you wouldn't know of because I'm worried about what they're going to say or
And
how
you
they're
wanna
going to
be
respond.
perfect.
And I want to be perfect.
That could be a possibility. I think the last time that we had, I don't think we had as many as today. I think they said that there was probably as many as ever been there before. Even Montana was there. You know what I'm saying? There were all these people. I think the last time that happened, where we had whatever event it was, where we had a whole bunch of ex 49er players there and all this stuff, I think we lost that game too, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Not too long ago either. I want to say it was in maybe 21, maybe, or something like that. Whatever year that we had, where we also lost that game too. So maybe there's something to it. I don't know. All I know is that everybody was there for the farewell candlestick, and we were able to pull that out. So,
but what if it was just it's different times and different players and different mentalities. But what if
I know it. Gotcha.
This was a bit of a distraction to the players? I'm just saying, it's a possibility. For some people, it shouldn't be.
The
For
Chiefs.
some people,
That's what it was.
Be.
Nick just told us it was the Chiefs.
All right, so let's keep these going. Gammon, Seahawks or 49ers? Oh, man, I don't even know. Well, this 49ers team is going to probably – but the Seahawks didn't look good again. Like, they still don't look good, but they found a way to win.
They found a way to win, though.
That's the difference. Grit.
The Colts almost had it against the Browns, but the Seahawks found a way to beat the Browns.
They found a way to beat them.
Different situation. The Seahawks were home and not in Cleveland, but still, they found a way.
They found a way. So, you know what? It's funny because he's asking this question, and if the Niners, don't look better, they got Jacksonville. I forgot who after that. Then they got Philly.
Tampa.
Jackson. So they got Jackson on the road, Tampa at home, Philly on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And shit, if we play like we do today against Tampa, your boy going off.
Yeah.
Because who covering Mike Evans?
Jeez.
That big mother sucker. You better hope he traded. Possibility.
That's our only hope.
Yeah. So
it's get traded to a contender.
I can't believe we having these conversations though. Like,
yeah.
After starting off, like, you guys talked about dominant
with a bullet.
And where's the dominance? And it starts with the mentality. Like, I'm telling you, it's different. Remember, I kept saying at the beginning of the year, we still don't know who we are yet. And look where we are now. So as dominant as we were, I kept saying we were still trying to figure things out. Like, I felt like, we were scoring 30, but it looked like there's times they could score more. They could come out on fire. And we took a big step backwards. It's crazy.
Yeah, Brock did.
And what's crazy is we took a step backwards after we did what you said we could do, which is score more than 30.
Exactly.
And we took our foot off the gas against the Cowboys because we could have put up 100.
No, yeah.
So, like,
I don't get it.
How do you completely
know.
Turn from that?
Because we 49ers started coming out of that game like end of the third.
Maybe that was the issue. Maybe they shouldn't have came out. Maybe we should have just kept playing and kept the feet on the gas, and that would have been the mentality. Like, we might have
broke a record.
Y'all up. Well, just the mentality of it. We ain't go ever since we came on the third quarter. We've been soft like Twinkie feelings.
Yes.
Defense can't figure out how to get off the field on third down. We almost had another third down game.
That's a good point.
They were like 3 for 4 on third down.
Mm-hmm.
That's 75%. I might be having the numbers off, but I know they was converting third downs. That ain't the Niners. Fish and chips. Remember Kyle Murder's quarterbacks and his system? I feel like Brock got hit on a play. Offensive line didn't block well. Like Peachy said at the end of the game, they were teeing off because they knew we were throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nick says, fam, at least we have the Faithful to the Bay video next week. Yes. Now listen, if you are a member, right, because we got to do something. If you are a member of the YouTube, if you're a member of the Instagram, if you're a member of Twitter, I believe those are, or Patreon, right? We're going to do a watch party of the new music video. So you're going to be the first to see it before we even put it out there. It'll be released the week of the Jacksonville game for everybody else. But if you're a member and you want that exclusivity or whatever, we can hang with us behind stage. We're going to have some fun. We're going to watch the video, popcorn. It's going to be like the Thriller video, yo. I promise we're going to have some fun. So, yeah,
When
Nick.
is that?
I haven't decided the date because I haven't talked to y'all yet. I'm just letting you know right now. But listen, it's the off week. It's the bye week. Shows won't be as, prominent. Everybody's gonna take a break. I want everybody to spend time with their family. You guys out there need to spend time with your family. There's no 49er football this week, so enjoy it. We'll definitely let you know what shows will be available for this upcoming week and stuff like that here on the channel or on Mo's channel. We'll keep you guys up to date. We promise. It sucks we lost. I just hate that we lost 3 in a row.
Yes.
I can't. Like, that hurt. Like, I ain't even hurt yet. And I did a really good job without cursing that much. I think I said maybe two words.
You did.
2 over. And that's, for me, that's a good. Mainly because I'm just trying to get my life better, yo. Like really. But at the end of the day, we can't allow this to be the norm.
Right.
So me, PG Moles, myself, Fear, and all the content creators, we're going to come together and we're going to figure out how to make you guys just feel better about the situation, because we're going to get these Niners back on track. That's our job. That's our duty. And that's all they need to do. They just need to get back to the basics, and from there, get back to the mentality that they had. I feel like the dog is missing. And because the dog is missing, somebody said the dog got lost or the dog left or something.
Somebody said the dog ran away.
The dog ran away. The dog ran away.
Yep.
Yeah. So we definitely gonna get to it, get down to the nitty gritty of things. I know Mo's mentioned the show tomorrow. We may do it. They could do it. I might be taking a break, but we'll see. We'll talk. But either way, we gave y'all a big show tonight. We appreciate all the super chat contributions. Listen, find a way to remain faithful, guys, because at the end of the day, that's what's really being tested right now. Our faith. The league wants us to give up on our team, and that's not what we're gonna do. But the reason why you're here is because you guys have full exclusivity to vent, to do however you want. Because that's what we want to do here. If we want to overreact, we overreact. I just don't want this to become the norm. This is not, like Peachy said, this is not who we are. And my question when I challenged her was, what if this is who we are? And I don't believe it one bit, but I asked her what if, because I'm not seeing anything different in the past 3 weeks. That's the issue. That's the issue. Peachy, Mose, any final thoughts before we jump up off of here, man? We had a great crowd today. What was the leading cause in tonight's loss? The poll question. We have over 389 votes, and 46% said coaching. And the coaching has to be. That's the number one reflection on this week.
That's where it starts.
That's where it starts.
Listen, we got 2 weeks, man, until the 49ers play again. That means 5 weeks without a W. I've been trying to drink my little mini gold bar for our victory shot for 3 weeks now, and now I got to wait 2 more weeks. This is not us, but maybe it is us. Past couple of years, we've started slow. This year, we started hot. Thankfully, we started hot because I couldn't imagine losing 3 straight, but then losing 2 early, and we be right back at 3-5 or whatever the situation might be. So going into the bye week, still with a winning record. We got 2 weeks to get guys healthy, to figure out what our mentality is going to be, and then come back out for the second half of the season and really set ourselves up for success in the playoffs. So it has to get done, or this team isn't who we thought they were.
Very well said. And Peachy, after your final thoughts, we're going to close this out.
Thank all of you for voting for one. 340 something. That's
89.
stupendous. We appreciate that. And all of you that stuck around in the chat for this long, that bounced out, came back, jumped on NBN, then came back over here. We really appreciate that. The dialogue was great. The super chats, we always appreciate those. I put the links in the chat to sign up for Breezy's Bunch. So if you want to join, just click that link. It's also always in the description of the show as well. All the links are always found in the description, so you can just look at that and click on that. It's like Breezy said, it's bye week, and it's a time to just kind of, as content creators, kind of relax. You know what I'm saying? But us, we don't relax that much, but we trying to make some sense out of this to be able to come together so we can give you guys something to look forward to. I do see some trades or a trade or something happening before the deadline. And the deadline is Halloween at 4:00. So it's right around the corner. And I just feel like that they're just something, whatever's off, hopefully they'll come together, figure out what it was. Again, just thank all of you for your amazing dialogue. You keep us going. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. So try to, read a little bit and enjoy the bye week and everything like that. So,
yo, the Madden and real stuff finally matched up. Madden had us at 5-3, and now we're 5-3.
Sure did.
I hate you and your simulation.
Good guys, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate y'all, man. We out, man. Peace out, man. Thank you.
Hey. Breezy, Mo's Nose.
Season 3, Peachy.
It's
It's about that time, everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's Nose, Peachy, Breezy, and Fair to God. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you none at all. We two gorilla, silverback, nah, silver.
It's busting good discussion cause we get it in. Every time we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's Wayne, Breezy, Peachy, Mo's Nose, and Fear to God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Nitty gritty, it's the